Here you go. So there is a second video with our expert Polina, and we will talk here more regarding bank accounts in the UAE. Polina, why all international millionaires and high net worth individuals running to open bank accounts here in Dubai?
So there are two strongest reasons why they're all interested in having the bank account here in the UAE. First of all, it's one of the strongest financial systems in the world.
If not the strongest, but
yes, because in the UAE there was no incident of bank bankruptcy recorded ever. Yes, the banks were merged and government program, they're pushing sometimes or advising some big banks take over smaller banks that are struggling financially, but there was no cases of bankruptcy. And second important reason, of course, is taxation. There is no tax on the personal income of the individual person, right? Yes, there was a corporate tax introduced, but comparing to the whole world, which is 45%, 9% on the net income is nothing, right?
Correct. Yes. So that's why even non-residents can also open bank account, as far as I know, but through the private banking channels. Or if you become a resident of the UAE, you can easily open bank account. It's just a matter of the days, 1-2 days it can take to open a bank account for you. And once you generate your rental income through the property, which is let's say 80% of our clients requesting, is very easy. You use your Visa, MasterCard around the world, or you can come here and enjoy a lifestyle. The procedure of opening bank account, can you please tell us more about this? Once you a resident, and some people sometimes have urge to open bank account here, once they're non-residents. It depends case by case, but we can work on every method.
Yes, of course. But let's discuss the standard case where the person is already UAE resident. So the basic set of documents will be his passport, Emirates ID, visa, and proof of address in the UAE. Because as long as he is a resident, he must live here, right? So if it's ready property, title deed will serve this purpose. If it's off-plan property, the tenancy contract or Ijara registration certificate will be required.
But some banks not requiring this.
Mostly no, yes. So it also depends on the nationality, because as we discussed before, there is medium, low and high risk nationalities. So the bank is looking at this, right? If it's low risk nationality, there will be not required. But if it's medium or high risk, it's mandatory to provide your residential address. But it's not, it will never stop us of opening bank account if the person has off-plan property and he doesn't have any tenancy contract. He just came for few weeks, he rented hotel. We can always arrange that Ijari certificate through some channels, and it will serve as a proof of address.
Or we can go to the bank which doesn't require the Ijari contract.
Absolutely. It's a big range of banks, and we know exactly for which case which bank will work. But if you are talking about bank selection, because sometimes people, they only hear about big banks like Emirates NBD and FAB. I want only these two banks, but they don't know that Mashrek is also a good bank, right?
ADCB.
Yes, and they have less strict requirements,
to open bank
but there's
Mashrek Bank you can even open online.
Yes, absolutely right.
But most of the banks you need to be here physically in person.
Yes, but even for those applications, like if you can open online, currently it's two banks allowing to do this, Mashrek and VO Bank. It's a digital subsidiary of First Abu Dhabi Bank. But it's very important to consider that those applications, they will not work while you're outside of the UAE. Because some clients, they try to apply, but the applications, they have detectors. So you can stay only in the UAE and apply for it.
That's clever. so that's, we're talking about normal bank accounts. So anyone can open, if you have residency, it's a matter of 1 or 2 days. What about private bank accounts for like high net worth individual, for whoever wants to have a private service? How does this work?
So we can open straight away private bank account, or we will start with retail one, which is classic one, and then upgrade to privilege or private later on. But if
That
the
will
client
take quicker to open a normal account than and then you upgrade it.
No, basically it's the same procedure, the same timeline, but if we want straight away to proceed with the private banking, so initial deposit must be done immediately, so during the account opening. And each banks, they have different requirements for the private banking, like average amount. So some banks, let's say it's starting from $3 million, $3 to $5 million, and some banks sometimes 10, I know. But let's say the minimum threshold is $3 million to bring on the account. It doesn't mean that these funds would be, blocked or frozen. You are free to use them, but they consider the average balance on the beginning and end of the month.
All right. So KYC for that matter will take some time. Also depend on the nationality.
Yes, of course, we need to prepare the profile, like CV of the investor, his source of income. The source of income, it's mostly, of course, for private banking, it's business. So we need to prepare business documents, establishment documents of the company, personal and corporate bank accounts statements from their country.
So how long will it take normally to open a private
Normally,
bank
I
account?
would say it will take around 2 weeks. So, but the presence of the person is not required here. I will need the person for initial meeting to sign the papers, to meet the banker, to submit all the documents, and then they're free to travel. All procedure is online. If the compliance of the bank or banker has any questions, they will send it over in the email, and we can continue the conversation.
It also depend on investment, of course, as far as I know, because some clients, and depend on nationality, some clients can take even up to 4 months from my experience, I would say. But 2 weeks is also possible.
Yeah, the average one is 2 weeks, but of course, if it's more complex one, it will take longer. So in my experience, the longest one I had, it was 3 months, but it was name match. We call it name match. Like in the banking system, the same person with the same name, first and last name, had some problems, and then and it was same nationality even. So it was a bit complicated, but yeah, it's case to case always.
Yes. All right. So so once why do you need, let's say you have property here, you decide to open a bank account. Actually, in order to generate rental income, you do need it, because that's how else you're gonna get your rental income. And for that, again, you need to come here to apply for residency and then to open bank account. But can it be open if you are non-residents? What is if you didn't apply for residency, for example, on your property investment?
Sure.
How does it work?
We can open non-resident bank account in case if the client has any connection to the UAE. So connection in the UAE, it means the business or property here. But with business, it doesn't really make sense to open non-resident bank account, because once you open your business, you have to get your residency, right? So property will serve the purpose to have non-resident bank account. The only difference is going to be not current account, but savings account. Savings account are not facilitating the checkbooks. So that's the only, let's say, limitation, but debit card, credit cards are there.
All right. And now, how long does it take normally? You have to be here physically, in person?
For the initial meeting, yes. For all kind of bank accounts, for initial meeting, the person required to be here, we will go to the banker to sign all the forms. And then they're free to travel. So for non-resident, it's again case to case. There is no standard timeline. I had, the fastest case was 4 days for non-resident. The longest, again, 3 months. Yeah, it was
so
around 3 months.
basically, if there is not much time to apply for, if someone needs a bank account urgently, they can do that. Because if you apply for residency first, even if you go through VIP channel, you still have to wait for your Emirates ID physically to come, and then to open bank account. And so, if you really need it urgently, then we can do that through the non-residency way.
Absolutely.
And what documents does, the passport copy again, and a code if it's off plan? property and
Yes.
title deed if it's ready to
Yes,
move in.
then source of income from their country, like if they're employed there, it should be salary certificate, bank statement with salary deposits. If it's a business, again,
It should be
establishment.
translated in English.
Yes, it must be translated in English, but it doesn't necessary to be authorized, so it can be even in Google Translate, so where
So don't need to be legalized.
no, 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 it's fine. As long as it's electronically generated documents, like from application, the PDF copies, Google translating them very well. Yeah.
Okay, and a question: if, for example, the property is a joint name, so husband and wife, who can open bank account in this case?
No, both of them they can open, yeah. But in most of the cases, husband is opening. Why? Because for wives, no, of course, if she has her own source of income, it can be done. But in majority of the cases, you know, wife, she said, like, I'm a housewife. Unfortunately, even having a property will not help her to open a bank account. And that's, I had such cases. Unfortunately, there is nothing much I could do here. That for some reason, you know, the property was registered only on the wife's name. They want to open bank account, and when I'm asking, please give me your CV, bank statement, and we see that bank statement is very average. She is not employed. She doesn't have a business. This is unfortunately will not work because UE.
Unless she become a resident. Right?
Yes, because UE banking system is looking at you as an investor. They don't consider that she was giving the money from the husband. No, she's mentioned on the title deed. She's investor.
Yes, this country is like this, so it's that's why we live in a very safe life here. So this country need people to bring investment in this country, so that's why. So basically, but if you are a resident and you have joint bank account, so both can open the bank account.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, if
Because
you're a
you're
resident,
resident.
it can be done. Yes.
There is no questions unless you decide to open private bank account.
Yes.
We covered the topic, the most important already about the immigration, golden visas in the first videos. This is the second video about banking system. And we do have different banks. Also, what bank would you recommend to open? Because we do have local banks, big banks also. And we do have international bank, but like HSCB, all of these things. What would you recommend?
I recommend always opening the first bank account in a local bank. And then as your additional account, you can open it in any international bank like HSBC, Standard Chartered, Citibank, and whatever. Why the local bank? Because first of all, government protecting, you know, local banks, right? And it's always good to build a history first in the local banks. Then international banks, they have more strict compliance. So if you don't have any banking history here in the UAE, you don't have a statement from UAE, it's not always easy to open international bank account. Unless, for example, the client is from London, he has HSBC account there in the UK, then it will support to open HSBC account here. But if it's from zero, there is no banking history, then always local banks, they're more straightforward in terms of compliance. And of course, it's from the safety procedure, from the safety interest that if anything will happen in the world, the UAE government will protect first local banks.
Local banks,
Yes.
all right. And the currency of opening bank account, of course, is dirhams. But some countries, some clients, they prefer, let's say, if it's client from US, would you recommend to still open an account in the USD as well?
So initially, when we're opening bank account, the main one is always in dirhams, in the national currency. But we can open additional accounts under the same account. It will be dollars, euro, GBP, yuan. It can be done with no additional cost. But your debit card will be always linked only to EED account, to national currency account.
All right. So, for example, if the investor live in abroad and they bought property here for investment purpose, so they can use this card abroad anytime.
Yes, it will be just converted. But for example, if they're living in Europe and they have here dirham account and euro account, so it will work better if he transfer euro to his euro account, and then within the bank, from his euro to dirham account, it will be less interest exchange than transferring from euro to dirham directly.
Do you know if client can apply for the credit cards? But if the bank account opening was through the property investment.
Yes, actually, it's not about if he can. To be honest with you, it's a mandatory requirement from the bank when it comes to non-resident account, especially, and golden visa sometimes as well. I'll explain to you why. Because for banks, when they're opening non-resident account, they understand there will be not much of interest for the bank. Yes, it will be rental income, but that's not much as, for example, if it's employed person in the UAE, he has salary, he always have some transactions.
Yes, if it's
right?
employed person, then the bank can provide credit card straight away. But there
Yes.
is if they're
Yes.
not employed,
Yes.
will bank still send them a credit card?
Yes, absolutely, but the deposit will be required. So, for example, the credit card is on the 50,000 dirhams limit. You will be required to put a deposit in the bank, 60,000 dirhams, and it will be also with some nice interest. Some banks offering 3 to 4.5%. It's fixed deposit. And against this fixed deposit, you will get your credit card.
Interesting.
And credit cards are really great here. I know people they're sometimes afraid of credit cards, but I really, personally, I really love them for two reasons. So first of all, it's your safety, because nowadays, we're shopping online, we're buying everything online, so we're putting our card details. So that's one banker told me once that if, God forbid, anything happens to your debit card, money will be taking, it will take longer time to return them. But if something happened, and it happened to me twice, credit card, something happened, somebody stole it, some amount, that it's in bank interest to return it because it's their money, it's bank's money, right? And it's their security system failed. It's first reason your safety. So debit card, no one has ever access to it. So if I pay online, everything I pay with credit card. Plus credit cards here, they always have a lot of cashbacks, whatever. In Emirates NBD, for example, there is Emirates Skywards credit card. So you shop and you get your miles. And some people, who's flying frequently with Emirates, each flight, each shopping in Dubai, it will bring you miles, and then you can fly business and first class.
Okay, that's very useful when you live here, especially because we do travel a lot when you live here. All right. So the normal bank account, the private bank account, we can open it. But just depend on nationality, depend on your current job situation, your business, and let's say it can take time, anything from 2 weeks to, if it's a private bank account, from 2 weeks to 4 months, something like this. If it's a normal bank account, we can open it with a matter of 1 or 2 days.
Yes, absolutely. And the most frequently asked questions, I would say, what is the difference between the retail banking, which is standard bank account, priority, and private? So first of all, it's communication. Once you have a retail bank account, which is opened through any branch of the bank, it will be your communication from the moment of account opening. It will be held through the call center. So you don't have any private manager. So everything through the call center. Even though these banks, they provide local landlines and international. But you cannot call anyone as a banker, right? Which is very convenient. But private and priority banking options, they offer a relationship manager. So you have a contact of this person, the email, he handles it, everything for you. Second, it's of course the convenience of anything. Like, for example, you want to close your fixed deposit or apply for a credit card. In retail banking, you must approach physically the bank branch to sign the application. For priority private clients, everything held through the emails with relationship manager. And of course, it's interests. If you're talking about a lot of transactions, transfers, especially currency international ones. So for retail banking and private banking, there will be different interests.
I understand. Also, how basically, in order to purchase property here, you don't need to have a bank account initially. But then it's obviously convenient always to have bank account here. And then again, because you can generate, you can receive your income straight away.
But it's important to remember, you don't need the local bank account in the UAE to buy the property, but you need the local bank account in UAE to sell the property. Because once you're selling the property, in 99% of the cases, right, the seller gives you the check. And this check cannot be deposited in your international account. It must be local UAE bank. So make sure to open the bank account before property transfer.
that's good that Polina mentioned it, because it's happened all the time. Like we do have international investors who bought properties here, then they want to sell, and there is a question: how do I do it? But there are ways you can do through convincing company, of course, to send the money back to your country, or you can leave it in UAE to reinvest. But you will have to pay additional costs. So
It's
always
at least 1.5%, and if you're talking about big
depend
money,
on
yeah.
some companies can charge 3%. Yes.
Wow.
But of course, just to have a bank account is a peace of mind. And once you do transaction, you can come here easily and just get a deposit check on your bank account, or you can do power of attorney on some of your friends, so we can also do transaction, and still we can this power of attorney can deposit, POA can deposit check on your bank account. So it's very convenient, it's very safe this way. Also, if you buy secondary market property, something ready to move in, if you decide to buy, like with off-plan, is easier to transfer just directly to developer's escrow account from abroad. But if you decide to buy something on a secondary market ready to move in, you obligated to have a local bank account again, because if you would like to book this kind of property, you have to issue a check from your bank account, 10% check to the seller, and then on the day of transfer you issue a check, a manager check with the whole amount. To have a bank account here, it's a lifesaver actually.
Yes.
If you decided to invest here, if you decide to stay here, if you have a great connections with the UAE, traveling frequently is must have. So again, thank you, Polina, to explaining everything, and know that we do have amazing expert who can help you with this matter as well. Normal bank account, private bank account, we can get on a Zoom call or have private consultation with you, so we can discuss your matter, because everything obviously is case by case. Thank you, Polina.
Thank you.
And stay tuned to the next video.